And solitariness and solitude are often near neighbors of the word alone. Which is like a neighbor of the word lonely and loneliness. But as is obvious here on Zoom right now, we may be apart, but there's a real opportunity for being together. Being together as we embrace the experience of solitude. Which is a kind of making friends with the silence and the stillness. And we've already, before even we started, each one of us has taken the trouble perhaps to come into a quiet space, maybe to sit in a way that we know will send a subtle message to the mind that this is a very special kind of sitting. So we create the outward conditions of stillness in the body. And as much as we can control it, we turn off various distractions and close doors. And perhaps if we're comfortable with it, we may also close the eyes to reduce the various stimuli that can activate the mind. And of course, it's possible to be in stillness and silence with the eyes open as well. We all have different needs at different times. And at each moment of our practicing together, we always have choice and control over what we can manage, what feels comfortable for us. Recognizing that in coming here at all, we are practicing coming to some kind of edge. This kind of sitting requires a certain discipline, a certain courage. And it's reasonably likely that when we practice like this, that at times we will be challenged by the stillness. Maybe even disturbed. And then the choice is there. Do we stay with that and perhaps expand our tolerance for sitting with something that is a little bit uncomfortable? Or making a wise choice, a compassionate choice to say, no, not today. And doing something else that perhaps supports us. And sitting in meditation is not unlike deciding to practice yoga for a half hour. If you're doing various yoga postures, you will be stretching the body. And choosing to challenge it to come to the edge of what's comfortable. And building some tolerance around that. And so here we find ourselves on a Sunday night. Whether we're sitting with joy or sorrow, or the whole spectrum of emotions in between. Showing up for whatever is inviting or kind attention. Trusting as best we can that however the mind is right now, scattered and wandering, or perhaps relaxed and focused, just trusting in whatever is here for us. And using the support of body awareness to keep us grounded, to anchor the attention when it wanders. And if it feels right for you, settling on the awareness of the breath. The faint sound of the breath can be a nice touchstone to increase the awareness of the silence within. And as we deepen into the awareness of the breath, if that's something you're able to do right now, get a moment by moment reminder of the current of our living. Each in-breath, an embracing of new life, or welcoming the moment. Each out-breath, a letting go. So in every full cycle of breath, there is an opening and an embracing, followed by a letting go. so that our moment by moment experience of breathing carries within it a deep teaching about how we can skillfully and wisely be in the world. And as we continue to cultivate an inner stillness, we develop a certain immunity from the outward storms that inevitably come as part of being in the world. Stock market crashes, relationship difficulties, loneliness, ill health, and losses of various kinds. All of these things may not throw us quite off balance, if we've developed a safe harbor within that we can go to, some period in each day, perhaps more than one period if you have the time. Coming into still waters. This is something the mind craves. But like a baby or a toddler that is cranky and resists going to sleep, it's only when it falls into sleep that It achieves a sense of peace. And so our minds, which are so addicted to doing, are often resistant to the practice of stillness, the practice of meditation. And it often happens that when we lead the mind into solitude, into stillness, that it starts to settle like an overtired child. When we spend more time in stillness, our quarrel with the world becomes unnecessary. One of the other really nice surprises of practice is that even when there are significant difficulties, the practice of stillness opens us to greater presence so that we can appreciate all sorts of small things that the mind would usually ignore. And there's a glimpse of that in this well-known poem by Mary Oliver called The Summer Day. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last, and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?